You're up.
Welcome, everybody. No, seriously. Thanks to David. First and foremost, I'm an enthusiast. I was an enthusiast long before I started working in the industry. So my dream was to have a dedicated theater, and my dream inside that dedicated home theater was to have like an AMX or press run system controlling it all. I had a little bit of experience programming AMX. If any of you guys are familiar with Mechdyne, they're an Iowa company that does big VR installations. I did a little bit of work with those guys and did some AMX programming. And then we got a house, and I built my theater and decided I wanted to have this AMX system in there, and started programming it, and then had a second baby and realized that there was no way I was ever going to get it done. It's complicated and time-consuming, and one of the worst parts about it being complicated and time-consuming is that we all like to switch out gear. We like to get a new Blu-ray player, or drop a new receiver, or a new pre-pro in, or whatever, and it's a giant hassle. When it takes 20 minutes to throw something in the rack and then 2 hours to program the remote control, there's something wrong. So ran across iRule in the forums. Actually, a buddy of mine from Chicago said, "Hey, check this out." So I started working with them back when it was beta, and then moved on to doing some of the UI development, and really fell in love with it. And then at CEDIA, year before last, said, we should work together. I'm ready to do something different. So I've been working with iRule for about a year and a half, and some of you guys are two-channel and not into home theater, and that's fine. But I wanted to do a little bit more about myself, but I'll keep the spiel short because there's all kinds of fun stuff to look at and listen to tonight. So, but anyway, iRule is a remote control app for iOS and Android. The whole point behind it was to be, really easy to program. So, 20 minutes to drop something into the rack. Hopefully, only 15 or 20 minutes to get it programmed and dropped into the remote, and have a working remote and controlling things. But the other key thing was we wanted to be really customizable. So, everybody spends a lot of time doing cool stuff with their equipment and their rooms to really customize and personalize it to their taste, and we think the remote control should be like that too. So, on the screen is an example of David's remote, and just to give you kind of an idea, we just released an update about a month or a month and a half ago. We're at version 3.0 for iOS, and an Android update will be following soon, but it used to be a fairly manual process to get new setups or build a whole new what we call a handset, which would be a remote for an iPad or a remote for an iPhone. But we just built some new capability and basically a wizard. So, and I'll show you guys that. I'm going to do basically just like a 5-minute demo, and we'll basically just build up a remote. And you can see how it works. But the whole idea is, I want a new remote for an iPad. So I'm just going to pick the activities that I want in the remote. I'm going to pick the devices that go with those activities, and tell the remote what's going to handle source and volume switching, and say OK basically, and it's going to build the remote.